you how you can go ahead and, as a presenter, leverage the presenter URL. You're going to go ahead and log in with your first name, last name, and email address. You're going to log into the platform. And once you're logged into the platform, you're going to have the ability to either connect via telephone, old school, or what we suggest is connect via computer. So go ahead and select computer. If this was an audio-only webinar where no web camera was being projected, you can go ahead and select audio. It'll use the computer speakers for this event. In this situation, we're going to use both the camera and our audio. So we're going to say use camera. It's going to say, hey, would you like to broadcast your webcam to the audience? We're going to go ahead and select yes. And at that standpoint, you'll see in the upper top right-hand side of the screen here, our audio is transmitting. We're getting blue processing in terms of our audio is being picked up. On the left-hand side of the screen, you're going to see that my video web camera is going to start promoting. It's kind of small. What usually we recommend to our presenters is you can hover over to the right-hand corner, and once over there, you're able to enlarge the screen a little bit, especially if we have multiple presenters. In this case, we have NCAA football coaches, so we have multi-screen. It just makes it a little easier to go ahead and leverage the system. So you can go ahead and set that up. You can actually, move the presenter console over for the presentation. In this case, we can do that. Key things to know as a presenter: top right-hand side of the screen. The first button is to mute your camera. Hey, you're going to go off camera. You don't want to be seen. You go ahead and click mute camera. You'll hear the audio say you are now muted. You'll see your stream will stop streaming. You can go ahead and unmute the camera by clicking the button, and your webinar stream will say, hey, do you want to continue sharing your camera? You're going to go ahead and select yes, and you'll see our video will continue to show. If you're going to have your camera on, but you have another guest speaker, you have to cough, you do anything, you can go ahead at that time mute audio, the second button. So you can go ahead and hit mute audio. So, and then at the same time, you can unmute audio. In addition, if you have multiple presenters, the third button over is view presenters. We have the ability to see who else is in the conference as a presenter, whether they're answering questions in the background, they're going to be on camera. And we have the ability to mute camera and audio for those, just in case there's some other things that come up. If at any time during it, if you need to hang up and reconnect, it's real fast. You hit the hang up button and go through that process to connect again. Not a problem. On the left-hand side of the screen, you're going to see a bunch of great tools. The first one up on the top is your slide organizer. Just like you could in PowerPoint, etc. When you upload your content, you have the ability to click and drag. So if we wanted to have this slide actually move over to this side, you can actually click and drag. It'll move over and it'll be set. Real easy. You can either hit the X button on the right-hand side, or what I like to do is be able to hit the first slide organizer button and it'll actually disappear. If by any chance you need to upload content, day of event, you can go ahead and upload content on the left-hand side of the screen here. This third button down is going to be for your presentation. And as you see during the presentation, whoever is in control will actually display the actual slides, so allowing the other people in the session to be able to kind of preview, scroll down and see, okay, hey, they're on slide 3. I'm going to be up on slide 7. I can go look at my slides and make sure. Again, the control button is right here on the top. So I'm in control right now. If we have other presenters in there, whoever's in control is actually pushing that information forward to the individuals moving forward. The next button down, team chat. That's very good, where we have the ability to send each other messages. So whoever is in that presenter area, we can send messages. Hey, there's a question from a customer. Can you go take that one, George? Hey, Jane, can you go address this question? Hey, I'm going to be right back. You can do team chat functionality with this button right here. The next one down is screen sharing. So we always have system engineers that have connected iPads up to the screen and do whiteboarding, etc. The only thing I just want to point out is you need to run a test and run a copy session very similar to what you set up originally. Every presenter needs to make sure the first time that they actually went in and downloaded the Google Chrome extension. You actually have to be running the environment, so don't wait till the day of to actually enable that Google extension. When we hit start and you go to screen sharing, the very first time it's going to say, hey, you need to add extension. Do you want to do that? And you'll say yes. This is a great button. The next one down is attendees. How many people are in a session? You can do a search by first name, by company. So we do this in terms of events. Hey, I want to go see how many of our actually own employees are on, how many of my big partners are on, and I can go type in by partner name and it'll pull up a full list and it'll show their last activity date from an attendee standpoint. Questions. This is great. So this actually turns red and actually has a live counter. So as you ask questions, or not you, as your customers ask questions, you have the ability to answer them in real time, either to that individual or to everybody else. If it's a really good question, you may want to send that out to everybody else. You have the ability to do that. When questions actually come in the system, you can click and drag, you can move it to answers. If you have a pre-assigned person that needs to handle online questions, they can actually get it sent over to themselves. So really simple functionality from that standpoint. The last thing to know is how to start a webinar, right? You see this big red green button, that's the start button. Remember, very sensitive. You have a presenter who's never used this platform. If they come in and hit start the first time, you are broadcasting live. So be very careful with that. So let's go ahead and start the session. So if I hit start, you're going to see a little countdown. I'm going to try it. We're going live in 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to say, hey, welcome everybody. We got a great special guest, got a great NCAA football coach. And again, if I want to transition slides, I am in control. So I'm going to be able to move slides so I can move on to the next slide. One of the best practices here is before you go live to actually move through the slide deck itself so it caches in the system. But then you can go ahead and change slides. We can go through the presentation. We can answer questions, check out attendees, and you'll see this will be broadcast out to the audience. When we're ready to conclude the actual event, we're going to come up here. We're going to say, hey, you're going to hit end. The system's going to say, hey, are you sure you want to end? And then we're going to say, yes, we're going to end this webinar, and then we'll go ahead and cancel that. That was our demo for today. Thank you very much.